Hi guys, this is Sai Kumar Kurtiwada. In this video, we will learn about adding the properties using a defined property method in JavaScript. In my previous video, I have explained about how to add the properties into an object using dot operator and square braces. I'll provide the link in the description for better understanding. Please watch it before watching this. Let me quickly jump into Visual Studio Code. Here I have created index.html, index.js, and this index.js is embedded into my script tag, and hence I can use this index.js and index.html for rendering our output. So for now, let me create an object where obj is equal to empty. So here we can add the properties to this object by using a dot operator and the square braces, which we saw in the previous video. Now what I will be showing is there is a method called as define property. So this define property will accept three parameters. One is the original object which we want to introduce a property. Second property is the name or the key which we want to add into that object. Let me give age as a key. And the third property is an object. In this object we will be providing the first one is value. So this object is used to configure and manipulate this particular property. For example, for now I'm giving a property called as value. For this value, let me assign the value as 30. Let me save this and console.log of obj. Let me save this, go to the browser and reload. If you see here, we got the property as age. Now I let me override this age property like obj of age equal to 40. Let me console again obj. Let me save this and go back, clear it off, reload. If you reload, the age property has not been overridden. In our previous video, whenever we are assigning a value to a particular property, then that value is overriding. But here it is not overridden. Why? Let's understand. There is a property called as a writable for an object which is defined by using a defined property. So the writable property by default will be false. So I am not able to write anything. If you see here, we have writable property which is by default false, but now what I am doing is I am trying to make it as true. That means I'm configuring that property to be overridden in future. So that is where writable is a true. Let me clear it off and reload. Here you can see age property has been overridden. That means you have to remember, whenever we are defining a property of an object by using define property, then the writable property value will be false. But if you want to override that particular property in the future purpose, then you have to explicitly define this writable property to true. Then only you can override that particular properties. And also in this object we have number of properties. For now, let us remember only writable properties. And in upcoming videos, I'll cover remaining properties which we will be using. Now, here the problem with defined property is we can define only one property, but JavaScript is providing one more property or one more method to add extra or set of properties at a time. Let me show you that. Where obj2 is equal to empty object, and inside this empty object I want to add number of values at a time. So let me add them. Object dot define properties. There is one more method called as properties which will accept only two parameters. The first parameter is your object, that means obj2, comma, the second one is map. This map will accept keys, that is name colon. This name property will be again an object. That object will have a value, and that value is Sai. We can define whether it is writable or not. I can define writable property as I can override this name in the future. And now I want to add one more property for this object too. Then I can add like this, age and value is 30, which I can override in future. So I'm giving true, and also let me assign one more value called as id, which will never be changed. Let me use the value as 03, and I don't want to override this because this is a unique part for my object. And now let me console it. Console.log of multi properties multi properties. Let me add obj2, give semicolon and save. So what we are doing, object.define properties, we are adding a set of properties with all the configurations, that is writable, true or false. And now in this we have two writable properties and one id as non-writable property. So reload this. Here you can see name Sai, age 30 and id 3. Now I'll try to override one of the property like name. Obj2 of name is equal to Kumar. So let me save this and print the console.log of after changing name. So here I can use obj2. Let me save this, go back, reload. You can see name as Kumar because we are giving writable as true. And at the same time, let me try to overwrite id. So id equal to 04 semicolon, save this and clear it off, reload. If you see here, I am not able to change the id because the writable property is false, or by default it is taking as false. So this is how we can add our object properties by using define property and define properties. And also we observed about writable property which was defined and which can be used to control our property value. I hope you like my video. If you like my video, like, share, subscribe to my channel for more updates. Signing off. Thank you.